So I finally can do a video on one of the other topics in life that I'm passionate about, and that is, of course, sports. And considering that the MLB hot stove has been very quiet this winter, there really hasn't been a big move until Wednesday night, the 10th, and that was Jay Bruce and the Mets are having a reunion. The slugger apparently reached the deal pending a physical. We don't know what the physical will happen next week, but the deal is 3 years, 39 million. He'll be earning 10 million this season. 2019 and 2020 he will be earning roughly 13 million dollars. So that's 39 million right there. That's his contract. The Mets made the right move, but later on I'm going to explain why they need to make one more big splash before spring training. Let's quickly look at his stats from 2017 via Baseball Reference. Currently, he is 30, but opening day comes, he will be 31 years old. I will go to full screen. Combined with the Indians, when the Mets traded him last season, he hit 36 home runs and batted in 101 runs. Wanted to make sure that was the right projection. So let's go down. We'll show you the exact numbers. All right, here we go. That's 29 home runs with the Mets. He had 6 home runs with the Indians. So that's 36 home runs. Very impressive. No question about that. Then we'll go down to his playoff statistics. Just wanted to see that stuff, but 2 home runs, that's not that bad in the playoffs, but honestly, not that much has really happened in the playoffs for Jay Bruce. Considering that this was a guy who loves hitting home runs, and there's proof of that in previous seasons. So we will check that out in a sec. Sorry about the computer doing that. I'm trying to charge my laptop, but it's having a hard time doing it. There we go. 2012, he hit 34 home runs. 2011, he hit 32 home runs. Put it in full screen so you can all see it. 32 home runs. 34 home runs. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I don't know why that came up, but that's Jay Bruce, and the Mets needed him. So now we're going to take a look at the projected opening day lineup for the 2018 Mets, and I have a big problem with this. Why in the world would they project Brandon Nimmo to be the starting outfielder? No, he's a bench player. Here's how I think the lineup's going to look. It'll be changed drastically. So leading off in center, it will be Juan Lagares. Center field, Juan Lagares. Struple, you'll keep him there. Cespedes will play left field. Yoenis will have no problem playing left field. He likes playing left field. He's talked about how he'd feel comfortable playing in left field. Jay Bruce would play right field. This is the news. Wilmer Flores, Darno, and thankfully the Mets have reached arbitration with their guys today on the 12th. This video is going up on the 13th, but I wanted to get that news out. Dominic Smith at first base, I'm not too thrilled about. And then Ahmed Rosario playing shortstop. Now, if the Mets want to try to get back Jose Reyes, they can sign him to a minor contract, but That's that going to do? Now, this will be the shame for the Mets if manager Mickey Callaway can figure it out. If these guys can stay healthy, and if everybody can stay healthy, the Mets have a shot to compete. But they need a first baseman. That's their problem right now. If Ahmed Rosario is going to be the future, well, we'll see what happens. But this lineup is pretty interesting. I will say that. And if you get a first baseman who is familiar name first baseman, then you have a chance to compete. And I'll quickly go into that as we go along. Here is the bench. Now, the reason why Juan Lagares would be playing in the outfield is because Michael Conforto can't play left field. I would like him to, but the problem is he's injured. And once he comes back from injury, then it's a possibility Michael Conforto could be playing left field, and Yoenis Cespedes can play center. So, we'll see how that ends up. I'm not really too thrilled about their bench. TJ Rivera is still on the DL. I don't really can't say anything impressive about the Mets bench, but if Juan Lagares is in the outfield, I would like to see that happen. And here's the bullpen. Now, this is how I think the bullpen's going to end up. Blevins will be the 7th inning guy. Robles will be the 8th inning guy. And closer can be changed up. If you want to put Familia or Ramos there, you could do that. And this is a very deep bullpen. And this is what Mickey Callaway can take advantage of. And now we're going to take a look at the class of 2018 free agent first baseman the Mets have for options. Here's Eric Hosmer. Let's see if there's any news on him. We're just going to randomly click and see what news is available on Eric Hosmer. Currently, no rumors have been made about Eric Hosmer. The only rumor lately I've heard was that he might go to San Diego. Now, why would he go to the Padres? That wouldn't make any sense. I mean, if it's not the Padres, it could be a different team. And I'm not going to speculate on teams. Now let's see if any Lucas Duda news is available. And this is interesting because I've been thinking about Lucas Duda if, let's say, the Mets don't get Eric Hosmer. If, and I mean if, the Mets are that desperate for a first baseman, and if they were that desperate for a reunion with Jay Bruce, the Mets should definitely look at bringing back Lucas Duda. Especially with the familiarity, and the fans especially like him. Considering how the fans said goodbye to Ike Davis. It was a very hard, emotional, rough patch when the Mets gave up Ike Davis, and they had to. Ike Davis wasn't hitting. Alright, now we're going to take a look at Lucas Duda's stats for a sec. I figured I'll take a look at his stats, considering that it's interesting what I was able to find on Lucas Duda and what I was able to find on Eric Hosmer's stats. So last season combined, he hit 30 home runs, and this was when the Mets traded him to the Rays in the middle of the season. They also traded Curtis Granderson. Well, that didn't end up well because Curtis Granderson wasn't hitting in the playoffs with the Dodgers and didn't make the World Series roster. Okay, so we're going to take a look at his stats here. And 2015 and 2014 were certainly his best years, solo-wise with the Mets. And then you look at the 17 home runs he hit with the Mets and 13 home runs he hit With the Rays, that's 30 home runs. When you look at the runs batted in, 64. Now, batting in 64 runs when you hit 30 home runs, that's not normal. Normally, when you have a slugger like that, he's supposed to bat in 100 runs a season. So, certainly the OBS is something that he needs to improve on. In fact, we'll check his OBS in a sec if we can pull it up. Oh, the on-base percentage, yes. Okay, on-base percentage should be 400, but it's not. And again, I've seen sluggers who get 400 on-base percentage and they hit 100 and they bat in 100 runs. So that doesn't make any sense. But he's a slugger, first base. Then we take a look at Eric Hosmer. Now this is interesting. With Eric Hosmer, he batted in 94 runs. 94 runs while only hitting the ball out of the park 25 times. Honestly, it's just not that impressive. Not that impressive indeed. And he's had 25 home run seasons. In 2015, he only hit 18 home runs, but he won the World Series with the Royals. And then when you look at 14, an injury-shortened season, but he got to the World Series, and we'll take a look at his postseason stats in a sec. There is some playoff experience with Lucas Duda and Eric Hosmer, but it would make perfect sense for the Mets to at least make one more splash at first base. And at the end of the video, I will make the case for both players. Okay, here we go. Here is his playoff stats. Let's see what he did. ALDS, 2 home runs. ALCS, no home runs. But at least the runs batted in mattered. That's pretty interesting. 1 home run in the 2015 ALDS. But hey, at least he was batting in runs, and that's what matters. If you can bat in runs, then you solidify yourself. So at least he won the World Series in 2015 with the Royals. So I'll be making the case for both men. Lucas Duda, I'll say this. It'd be a perfect reunion. The Mets should definitely consider it, only if Eric Hosmer is off the market. I would say this. If you're Sandy Alderson, if you are looking at the first base class of 2018, and I figured the way we end it, we'll be using Google here. The way you look at the first base class of 2018 is this. Eric Hosmer is available. Lucas Duda is available. If you're the Mets, you look into those 2 guys and say to yourself, these are our candidates. Let's make something happen, and we'll see if we can work something out. Because right now, when I look at this lineup, Dominic Smith cannot play first base. So that's where I end the video. I'm glad I was finally able to talk sports, because I haven't been doing that lately. And hopefully, if the Yankees make a move, which I keep hearing rumors now that they're considering actually trying to get Yu Darvish, that would be interesting, because to end the video, I want to quickly mention that the Astros traded for Garrett Cole. So now the Yankees don't have an option for a pitcher. So Yu Darvish is still available. If the Yankees can make something happen to add another starter, that would be great. But right now, Montgomery is the guy for the Yankees. So that's how I'll end the video. Thank you all for watching. Till next time, take care.